Welcome into the Wednesday Top 5, brought to you by Texas Beef House. Go to bitonbeef.com. Hey, there's an auction coming up. 365 Sports is the promo code that you want to use at checkout. These are top 5 teams you don't want to mess with. Look, I don't think anybody's going undefeated, but if you're going to get in a tussle, these are not the teams I want to tussle with on my way to the college football playoff. Number 5, Texas A&M. I'm going to use this analogy again and again, but I think it stands to reason. When A&M was their most successful, they were a truck driven by a truck driver. That's what R.C. Slocum was. They were efficient. You could knock your way through things with a truck. You could haul things with a truck. That's who they were. Then the SEC and Johnny Manziel happened at the same time, and A&M thought, we can be a Lambo. They're not a Lambo. They were never a Lambo. They were just people pretending to be people who could really pull off a Lambo, but never really ran that way. Mike Elko, that's a dude who drives a truck, and they can once again be a truck, so I don't want to mess with them because they're very efficient on defense, and their offensive line and running game is really lethal, and they've got quarterbacks that they trust, either Connor Wegman or Marcel Reed. I do not want to mess with Texas A&M. Do I think that they might be a playoff team? Do I think they're a championship team? Probably not at this point, but also they're a team that can derail you because they don't really hurt themselves on the field like they have through Kevin Sumlin and Mike Sherman and Jimbo Fisher. They're efficient. They're a truck, and you fear a truck, especially if it's bearing right down on you. Number 4, Indiana. Now look, Curtis Rourke's out for the next couple weeks, but they haven't really played many close games this year. Their offense gets that on you. It's not just passing, it's running as well. They're all over the place. Curt Cignetti has the vibe in that place so good already in year 1. Google me, I win. That's the t-shirt that they're going to have all over Bloomington, Indiana this week. And the joy you see on this guy's face, that's the joy that they play with. And when you do that, you're a really tough team to beat, especially when you can confidently score. Now, we'll see what happens down the line as they get into maybe playing tougher teams, maybe even getting into the playoff. Now, we talked to Zach Osterman from the Indy Star and said pump the brakes on the playoff just yet, but the schedule does certainly line up for them to have a shot at it because they are better than most of the teams remaining on their schedule, at least to this point in the season, and I don't want to mess with Curt Cignetti at all. Number 3, BYU. No matter what happens, no matter how the game goes, they're just able to find it within themselves to make it theirs. Oklahoma State played the best game of their season last week and still lost. They throttled Kansas State. Nobody else has done that. Nobody else has really even come close. Now, some teams have come close to beating them, but they absolutely pummeled Kansas State in Provo and made them like it. They're the only team to beat SMU and slow down an SMU offense that's crazy explosive. BYU is legit. I don't want to mess with Kalani Sitake. Jake Retzlaff has something about him that just makes it go. It's not super spectacular, but it's good, and it's fun to watch. And BYU's a place with great quarterback tradition. Jake Retzlaff's starting to carve out a place in that hall of QB honor that they have there. Number 2, Army and Navy come together on this one. I couldn't put one out and not the other, but there's still a team on this list that I had to include. So maybe today's a top 6. But again, they both play, that tough offense to prepare for. They're very confident right now. They have players who make big plays, and they've incorporated passing into the offense more this year, and they're lethal. We could see Army-Navy twice this year in back-to-back weeks. I don't know how much I want that, but I do. I'm here for the chaos, and I would love to see one of these teams get in the playoff if possible. That would be great, and it would feel like it was 1939 again. And number 1, Iowa State. They are so damn good. Iowa State, BYU had very similar weeks last week. Rocco Becht has really come into his own. He's the perfect quarterback for that offense. They've got really awesome wide receivers. They've got a running game that just doesn't quit, and they've got a defense that, while they do give up a little bit in the running game, they're really, really good. This is the most Matt Campbell team ever, and I do not want to mess with Iowa State. Iowa State makes it to the playoff, I promise you. Even if they don't win that first game, they're taking a chunk out of whoever team that beats them, because that's their style. I do not want to mess with Iowa State. That's going to do it for the top 5. It's time to say goodbye to all our family. MICKEYMOUSE. See you in a minute.